Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a shortcut, really, through just a huge amount of information. We're looking at the future of work, the future of learning, specifically this massive shift happening right now in education and workforce development. And it's being fueled by, well, this combination of spatial AI and extended reality, or XR.
That's right.
So our mission today, it's very specific. We want to synthesize all this external evidence we've gathered. We're talking independent media reports from all over, government partnership announcements, testimonials from universities. And the goal is to see if this evidence really validates EON Reality's position as a genuine leader in transforming how knowledge gets transferred globally.
Exactly. We're aiming for the objective proof here, not, the company's own marketing.
Definitely not the spin.
And it's interesting to see EON Reality not just as a tech company, but more like a case study. They've been around a while, right? Since '99, an XR pioneer. But the sources show this clear path from selling specific gear to becoming what people now call a trusted global infrastructure partner.
Infrastructure partner.
Yeah. Powering national upskilling programs, big educational transformations. That shift from just selling a product to providing the whole infrastructure, that's really the story we need to dig into.
Okay, let's unpack that. You mentioned global scale, validation. What does that actually look like on the ground? I mean, hundreds of third-party mentions across 6 continents. Is that just the usual tech blogs, or is it something more substantial?
Oh, it's much broader. This isn't just like echo chamber stuff. It's independent confirmation. You see it across education, business, government sectors. They're all acknowledging the leadership here.
And the core offering is?
It's how they use AI, artificial intelligence, to power knowledge transfer in AR and VR. It really boils down to that connection. Spatial AI, XR for education, and then using that for really immersive workforce training. It changes the game.
Okay, you mentioned spatial AI. We should probably clarify that for everyone listening. In this learning context, what is spatial AI doing that's so different?
Right, good question. It's basically the intelligence within the 3D space. Think about it. Traditional AI tutors, maybe text-based or video, they're flat. Right? 2 dimensions. Spatial AI actually understands the 3D simulation context, so it can give feedback that makes sense in that space. It can watch how a student, say, interacts with the virtual engine and assess competence or guide them step by step through something complex.
So it turns the 3D model from just a visual into something interactive and intelligent.
Exactly. It becomes an intelligent mentor, essentially. And that allows for personalized adaptive learning that you can actually scale up.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's look at the media coverage then. Are there specific reports confirming this strategic influence?
Yeah, and what's interesting is how forward-looking some of it is. Like Engineer.com just ran a piece, I think it was April 2025, highlighting a partnership with the University of Business and Technology, UBT, in Kosovo. And it wasn't just announcing a deal. It was about pushing what they called the third way in higher education.
The third way? That sounds significant. Challenging the old university model. What does that mean?
It's pretty revolutionary, yeah. It means using distributed campus networks so you're not tied to huge, expensive central buildings. And crucially, embedding AI mentors right into the learning process. The idea is to create this scalable, personal environment that can train skilled people faster, more affordably than the traditional system. It positions Kosovo and UBT as kind of pioneers.
So making quality training available everywhere, not just in one place. But accessibility is usually the sticking point for scaling tech like this, isn't it? Expensive headsets and all that.
Absolutely. And the sources hit that directly. XR Today pointed this out back in late 2021. They called the EON XR platform one of the most accessible and cross-platform learning environments available.
Okay, that's key.
It is key because it means schools and companies aren't locked into buying super expensive specific hardware. The system works with, well, pretty much all the main AR, MR, and VR devices out there, so adoption is actually feasible.
And looking back even further, we found sources like CNBC way back in 2017. Recognizing EON Reality even then as a driver for VR and industry globally. So they saw this coming.
Yeah, that's almost a decade of track record. They were framing VR and XR not just as gaming, but as tools for the industrial economy, right from the start, really.
So wrapping up this first part, the evidence suggests they moved from just making cool tech to providing something more like essential infrastructure, something nations need for education and, well, economic strength.
That's a good summary. It's about becoming critical infrastructure.
Which leads perfectly into the next bit. Critical infrastructure needs trust at the highest levels, right? Government partnerships. How do you go from a few successful pilot projects to transforming learning nationwide? That must involve governments directly.
Oh, absolutely. You have to work with ministries,
Yeah.
education, labor, economic development. You need to show real results, measurable outcomes, and upskilling the workforce. And the sources, well, they're full of examples of these national deployments. It shows the model works globally.
Okay, take us on a quick tour. Where are these big transformations happening?
Well, we could start in the Middle East, the United Arab Emirates, the UAE. Sources talk about them setting up these XR knowledge hubs across public and private institutions.
Strategic move for them.
Very strategic, fits right into their big digital transformation plans, using immersive learning to, future-proof their workforce.
Okay. And if we shift continents, say down to Africa, what's the focus there?
In South Africa, it's quite specific. Technical and vocational education and training. TVET programs.
Practical skills.
Exactly. Immediate practical skills. They're using AI-driven XR to speed up workforce development in really vital economic sectors. It helps overcome challenges like, not having enough expensive physical training gear.
So it's tailored to the specific needs of the country. What about Asia?
Thailand's another really strong case. They've got national education transformation programs running, working with local government, universities, using XR to standardize and, frankly, improve education quality across the whole country.
And for the Americas, the example that keeps coming up seems to be Costa Rica.
Absolutely. That collaboration is huge. It involves the CRUSA Foundation and Invenio University. And the sources explicitly call it a flagship spatial AI education model for Latin America.
And the CRUSA Foundation, just so people understand, isn't some small charity, right?
Not at all. They're a major force for sustainable development and tech integration in that region. So when they adopt this model,
It sends a message.
a very powerful signal across Latin America about where the economic priorities are heading.
Wow, that density of national trust, working with ministries, major development foundations, it's impressive. Which brings us naturally to the next layer of proof. It's not just governments, it's world-class companies and universities trusting this tech.
Yes, and the names listed in the sources really underscore the reliability factor. These are high-stakes applications. Think about the companies: Boeing, Microsoft, ExxonMobil, Lexus, ABB.
Big names.
Huge names. Places where mistakes are incredibly costly or dangerous. They're using XR for things like complex maintenance, safety procedures, visualizing assembly lines.
And the universities are just as top tier. UCLA, University of Glasgow, Syracuse, King Saud University, and UBT in Kosovo, which we already mentioned.
Right. These aren't places that adopt tech lightly. They demand proof that it actually works pedagogically, that it improves learning.
And you even found examples in pro sports.
Yeah, which is fascinating. NFL teams, Major League Baseball teams, using XR for training. Things like practicing complex plays, repeating high-performance skills over and over in simulated environments.
If it's good enough for billion-dollar sports franchises where tiny details matter.
It says a lot about its reliability for critical training in other fields, like industry, doesn't it?
It really does. But sometimes the most powerful proof isn't a logo. It's hearing from the leaders who are actually implementing these changes. Our sources mentioned over 100 independent video testimonials.
That's right. And that kind of evidence is very hard to fake. These are real people talking about real impact.
Any specific examples that stand out?
Well, take Dr. Teshel Berisha. He's the State Minister of Labor and Skills in Ethiopia. He describes immersive learning as absolutely key to building a knowledge-based economy efficiently.
So he sees it as a core national resource.
Precisely, not just some nice-to-have educational tool. Then there's Flora Montelegre from the CRUSA Foundation in Costa Rica. She talks plainly about the transformative potential of spatial AI for the entire national education system. That's policy-level impact.
Right.
And we also hear about concrete results in universities. Professor Daniel David, the rector at Babi Bolya University in Romania, he shared their success with using immersive tech for language learning, how quickly students adopted it. Tangible results.
And another voice from Romania.
Yes, Vlad Dreblai. He's the president of Romania's Authority for Digitalization. He emphasizes how XR helps them accelerate their national digital readiness plans.
So it connects learning tech directly to broader government digital goals.
Exactly. The big takeaway from all these testimonials is that the technology isn't just, popular. It's actually meeting very specific, very diverse national objectives. Skills, safety, digitization.
Yep.
You name it.
Okay, let's try and tie this all together now. Industry publications, like Organics, Globe Newswire, they seem to confirm this pattern too, right? Talking about long-term collaboration, localization efforts, growing distribution networks, like that alliance with Dell and Acutech for Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, that infrastructure growth is crucial. It shows the whole operation is built for getting this technology out there widely. It really supports their stated mission, which is democratizing access to knowledge using these immersive intelligent tools.
So they're not just selling software licenses.
No, it's more like they're building the pipes, the global infrastructure for knowledge transfer itself.
And Dan Ledgerskar, the chairman of EON Reality, he had a quote that seems to capture this whole wave of evidence we've been discussing.
He did. He said, and I'm quoting here, "This wave of independent validation spanning media, ministries, and institutional testimonials proves that spatial AI is not a future concept. It's a present reality transforming education and economies worldwide."
Present reality, that's the key phrase.
That's it. It's happening now.
That really sums up the weight of the evidence. So bringing it back to the listener, whether you're a professional needing to upskill or a student figuring out your path, what's the main takeaway here?
I think the critical insight, based on all this evidence, is that we're seeing a massive, scaled, and globally connected infrastructure taking shape. And it stands on really three solid pillars: consistent validation from independent media, direct adoption by national governments for their core economic strategies, and deep trust from major institutions built over, well, more than 2 decades.
So this isn't some tech bubble about to burst.
No, I don't think so. This is more like a fundamental shift in how people gain skills, how competence is acquired.
And the ultimate goal seems to be enabling anyone, anywhere to learn faster, work smarter, achieve more, basically, through this kind of knowledge transfer.
Which leads us to that final provocative thought we like to leave people with. What does it actually mean for you, personally, in your field, when knowledge itself becomes this easy to scale and access? If learning any complex skill anywhere in the world can suddenly become much faster, much more effective, what does that do to competition? What new opportunities open up?
What happens when the learning curve flattens?
Exactly. That's the real consequence of this spatial AI revolution we're seeing unfold right now. Something to think about.